From James 1:26 to 2:13, James talks about a new theme. This is the theme of impartiality. The theme he actually mentions in chapter 2, verse 1. My dear brothers and sisters, how can you claim to have faith in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ if you favor some people over others? James announces to them what it is that he's going to talk to them about. They need to learn to be impartial. Now, what that means for them, James spells out. Going back to James 1:27, pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you. Dealing with impartiality, it was not favorable to anyone to care for orphans and widows. They were at the bottom of the social chain. James says, don't let that worry you. You care for them. You look for vulnerable people and you serve them. Then from 2 to 7, he talks about the rich and the poor. We're not going to read all of that, just the first couple of verses. James says, for example, suppose someone comes into your meeting dressed in fancy clothes and expensive jewelry, and another comes in who's poor and dressed in dirty clothes. If you give special attention and a good seat to the rich person, but you say to the poor one, go ahead, stand over there, sit on the floor. Doesn't this discrimination show that your judgments are guided by evil motives? So here, and in the next couple of verses, James says it's very natural to favor the rich over the poor. Don't do it because God favors the poor. He goes on, verses 8 and 9. It's good when you obey the royal laws found in the scriptures. Love your neighbor as yourself. But if you favor some people over others, you're committing a sin. You're guilty of breaking the law. Now he goes on and he talks about what it means to break the law. But right here, he's simply saying, love your neighbor. Don't show partiality. Loving those from whom you can benefit. Love your neighbor. Love everyone. And he finishes at the end of verse 13. If you have been merciful, God will be merciful when he judges you. Show mercy like God shows mercy, James says. In that way, we obey the word and we're impartial in our love.